Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I'm outside getting some fresh air and just trying to get some scenery into my vlogs because normally I'm inside, close to 80 something degrees outside. So right now I'm just watching the block a little bit, and today is just about like motivation and habits. I may have mentioned this before and I may not have mentioned it, but I read this book called Atomic Habits by, I don't want to try to guess the name right now, but I'll definitely link it below. It was a really good book. It is habits that's going to propel you to finish your project over motivation. And I'll say that because when I first started editing my book, like I was super motivated. I was going to finish it. I didn't care. I was going to do whatever I needed to do, but it's not motivation because the motivation left. It was fleeting. I think it lasted me like about 2 months, which is pretty good time to stay motivated. After 2 months, I just have not picked up the book to edit. I'm not ashamed, but I know that like the book kind of states, and like some of you may already know, it is the habits. I'm going to have to set a timer, some time aside every day to just make time to edit. Aside from just trying to edit the book, the motivation thing didn't work for the gym. It didn't work for other habits that I was trying to implement into my life. Like at one point I was writing every day for a set amount of hours a day, just holding myself accountable, not realizing that it wasn't the motivation that was doing it. It was more so the habits that I was creating. So I would wake up, I would have like a cup of tea or coffee or a bottle of water, and before I would even eat, I would just sit down with that alone, and I would start working on whatever project of the day that I wanted to work on. And I wouldn't allow myself to be distracted until I finished working on it. By distractions, I mean phone calls, things like that, of that nature, emails, etc. And I think I operated best when I did this on a morning basis, on a morning schedule. But like I said, just like with the editing, soon I just didn't want to do it no more. Sometimes like with life, like moods will fluctuate, and that'll influence my willingness to want to finish like a project, which sucks, which I think bothers a lot of people that are creative. So I realized that this stuff just isn't going to get done. Just got to sit my ass down and do it. What I've done is I've been holding myself accountable by using the Google Calendar that you guys will hear me talk about a lot. I've been writing down like lists and then revisiting those lists to see if I did some of that stuff that was priority. I've been writing in a planner, and I know it seems like a lot, like, okay, why do you keep writing so much stuff down? But I was writing all this stuff down because it actually was helping me to see and hold myself accountable. So like I'm the type of person that if I want to avoid a bill, like that bill will stay in the envelope. I know that nothing's good in that envelope if I open it, but it's like, do I want to know what's in there? Like, who wants some money now? It's not, they're never going to send a bill to the house telling me how great my service was as a patient or anything like that, so I don't open it. Like, I know that it's bad, but I'm just being honest about it. I have like bills that I know what they are because they've called me, but it's like it's sitting in an envelope because I don't want to open it. I have this stupid thing where I was like, if I open it, it's going to ruin my day. And avoidance is going to help me to fix my financials. Avoidance is going to help to write this book or finish the editing process, because after editing it's going to be a rewrite. That's a fact. It's not going to help me plug in this SD card into the computer and start the editing process for these vlogs and videos that I've been working on, because subconsciously I don't want to do it. It's not laziness, it's fear. I love learning, but I don't want to put any more things, like tie anything more stuff to my brain right now. I have like 100 something pages that I need to read over and I need to edit. So I've broken it down to say, okay, you're going to do 10 pages a day. I think 10 pages a day is going to turn into 15 or 20, because once I start like digging into the story, I'm going to want to read more. And some days I'm not. Some of that stuff sucks that I wrote. Being 100% honest, but that's the fun part of being a creative. You're going to see stuff, it's going to suck, but I think editing helps you to make your projects great. Editing and actually doing it is going to make you better at what you do, because it's going to suck. It's going to suck for a little while, and that's just that. Shout out to the hairdo. So like I threw it up in the ponytail. It's very random. And then I left these 2 little pieces out. When I got the nails done, promised to myself to not be running around in these streets looking crazy anymore. The only thing is about like throwing my hair up like with these braids is that I'm trying to keep my edges from going to the funeral home, from like tying it up too high or too much weight on it. But that was random. Just got distracted. Like each day is becoming harder and harder to stay focused and do what I need to do, and I realized that it's just all about me being accountable and showing up to the tasks and the projects that I committed to, because I want to finish now at this point. I said to myself, and before the year changed, and this is not a New Year's resolution or a New Year's goal, this was just like me, like, all right, you gonna keep being the passenger in your life, or are you going to do what you say you're gonna do? You say you're a writer, now write. You said that you're a creative, now create. You can't, I wouldn't say you can't, because you can do whatever you want to do. But for me, I didn't feel comfortable anymore attaching these labels to myself if I wasn't going to do what I said I was going to do. So I'm working very closely on myself, on my habits. And I've noticed it's not the ethic, it's not the work ethic, it's the mental, right? So like I said, I was going to start the YouTube channel, and I've been vlogging and things like that. And then some days it's like, what are you doing? Like, you know, there's people with like 150,000 subscribers, 150,000. You know, I'm trying to get 3. But there's people that, like, they know this stuff off the back of their hand. They know what to film. They have an audience. They're making money from it. They're doing great. And I'm just like, and I'm just starting it now. So I'm like, some days I'm like, is it even worth it? And I think that those little questions, those one-off situations, like real quick, I try to snap, it didn't work. And you didn't see that. Real quick, it just like, it makes me lose motivation sometimes. And so that's where I said, like I said, the habits are what's going to save me. If it's weight loss, if it's like writing, if it's filming, whatever it is, you know, I might not have named it, but whatever it is, you don't have to wait till you get motivated, because that shit is just not coming. And if it comes, it's not staying. You need to build the habits. You need to set a schedule. You need to stick to that schedule. You need to have these honest conversations with yourself. I was like, for like days, you know, I've kind of been like in a funk, but it's not like a funk that affects other people. It's like, it's me punishing myself, just thinking to myself, like, man, you're so far behind. But like, all it takes is that little thought to just sneak in, and it could just like bring your mood down. So I'm trying to pump myself up instead. I went back to listen to my podcast in the morning, and coming in and spending an hour, I'll tell myself like, okay, you don't want to do this, just give it an hour. That hour turns sometimes into 2 to 3 hours. So that's still a lot for me to be proud of for myself, because it's not easy. You know, you work, you have, probably most of us have like a full-time job. Some of you might be going to school, you might have kids, you might have parents and sick people or to attend to, you might volunteer, whatever the case is, whatever takes up your time. I think that you can still sketch out an hour or two to the important things like exercising and your hobbies or your crafts and things that you're working on. I really, 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 really want to be able to do something great for myself. These birds is going off in the background. I don't know if you guys are hearing some of it, but I'm just trying to change some of those things around. Just trying to just keep showing up, keep opening the book up, keep reading it, whether I like to or not, whether I like the results that I get. I just have to do it. And if you're feeling that passionate about your projects as well, I'd really like to hear about it or connect with you guys on Instagram or Twitter or in the comments below. I take those sort of things seriously, and maybe like we could become like a support group or something like that for each other. I just wanted to personally thank you guys for your time. And if you like the content that you saw today, or you want to hear more, or you're interested in where this journey of motivation versus habit goes, just like and subscribe to the channel below so you can get the other videos that are coming out. I'll check you guys out later. And this was J Bear, the Venting Bear. I'm out.